got Mongolian barbecue and police academy. Mission de Moscow. Okay, what are we doing? What are we doing here? I don't know, my man. I don't know. I don't know. I love the show and I love Jack Edwards' concept of reading what other people and characters have been reading, and I just combined the two. Now, lucky for me, he only read one book. Unlucky for me, the one book is 1,328 pages long. Yay! He read War and Peace. He didn't read War and Peace. If I quote, he said, "I'm brushing off on some War and Peace."
Oh, hello. Well, I was just glancing at War and Peace.
But I'm not going to be brushing off. I'm going to read the whole thing. The entire 1,328 pages of it. This is a fucking mammoth. Hi! How are you? I've missed you. I hope you're okay. We're going to be reading a fucking mammoth. Enjoy the ride. Okay, I finished some of it while listening to Beethoven on one ear and learning Mandarin on the other ear. We have 2 ears. Fascinating. I didn't tell you what the book is about before. I'm sorry, I'm gonna tell you now. So it focuses on Napoleon's invasion of Russia in 1812 and primarily following 3 of the most well-known names in literature. One, Pierre Beskoff, who is an illegitimate child of a count who's fighting to get his inheritance while yearning for spiritual fulfillment. So he's looking for the bag and God. We have Prince Andrei, who leaves his family behind to go and fight in the war against Napoleon. And then we have Natasha Rostov, who is a beautiful daughter of a nobleman who intrigues or fascinates both the previous men, the son of a count and Andrei. Okay, the summary doesn't do it justice because there's so many freaking characters. So far, I've met more than fucking 20. And all that's happened is we are sat in 1805. We're worrying. Let me tell you, the amount of worrying. We're gonna get hernia. We are worrying about the threats against Russia and calling people the Antichrist and stuff. That's all we're at. We're just worrying right now. And yeah. Okay, my question is, why is this fun? Because I'm confused. This is not supposed to be fun. Why is this fun? I think that so far we have a diverse cast of character, not diverse as much as we would like them to be, but diverse just in the sense of the social status. We have a nobleman, we have son of a count, we have a, well, kind of a princess. I mean, let's be honest. They don't say she's princess, but she's kind of a princess. We have just soldiers. We have like civil people, like civil people. It's reminding me, even like there was a name, I completely forgot it. But okay, The Idiot by Fyodor Dostoevsky is one of my favorite books. And it's reminding me of that so far. The characters, the setting, the dry sense of humor, it reminds me of that. And the mixture between the civilians and soldiers and just literally like a homeless person and someone who's like abandoned for being sick. So far it's looking good, surprisingly. And like I said, the only difficult part is keeping track of everyone. That's all. Alright, I'll see you in another. Bye. I hope you can hear me well because it's almost 5 a.m. and I'm having an existential crisis and I can't really speak loud. Like this dead sense of humor. I don't know how else to call it. It's dry and it's dead. There is so much hyper details that I usually don't like, and I like it, and that's surprising. I don't know how to explain this, but so far this book, it's like a conversation. I don't know if that makes sense, but I want to sit and talk about this. There is a lot of historical stories so far that are, again, super fucking details, but still, they are the only, I guess, boring points that I can think of so far. But still, even the boring points, like, add to it and put me even more into the story and into the setting, which is a setting that I did not think that I want to be a part of, but here we are. I don't know what I'm doing. Sort of don't mind the boring parts because of the emotional states of the characters, because it adds to them. It's doing such a good job bringing the characters into life. 500 pages in, I gotta tell you, I side with Shakespeare on brevity. I feel like I'm losing it. Why am I doing this? Why did I start this? Who made me do this? Why did I listen to them? So the last time we met, when I was having an existential crisis and cut my hair off, there was this part that I told you about that I liked, who said that the state of things is what makes a man. But now it's sort of twisted into the present. This is like what I'm taking from it. And mind you, I am reading and researching, so what I'm understanding from a lot of it. But it's sort of like twisted, in my opinion, into like from a good thing to a bad thing in the present. What I mean is like now the state of things is what glorifies men in history. A way that we celebrate certain heroes and glorify certain people, while either forgetting or not even knowing or are presented with the knowledge of the men that did the work that should be celebrated, or the men that assisted in doing the work. Honestly, the men and women who did fucking all the work. Civilians, soldiers, just workers, day-to-day people, and it's focusing on that a lot. And like the more I read, the more it's focusing on that. It's focused more on history's heroic figures rather than the men who fought and died for causes that the figures are celebrated for. So upon researching while reading, this is sort of a fictionalized historical lesson, a long fictionalized historical lesson that is taking place of the war between France and Russia. In fact, Tolstoy himself did not believe that this is a novel, stating not a novel, even less is it a poem, and still less a historical chronicle. I'm not gonna lie, my brain is kind of all over the place right now. I'm taking breaks, I'm reading other things between this, and I'm treating this like I would treat other big-ass books that I can get through it. But I am still fucking surprised by how fun I'm finding this to be. It's fun. I like the depth of the characters. I like the dialogues. I like the writing. Even the boring bits, I enjoying them. And that's fucking surprising. The movements of notion is caused not by power, nor by intellectual activity, nor even by a combination of the two, as historians have supposed, but by the activity of all the people who participate in the events. I am here to share that quote because I love it, and to also tell you about his fucking wife. His wife was a fucking G. I'm talking a G. I'm talking one of the realest G's you can ever meet in your entire fucking life. Let me tell you, she wrote each version of the novel by hand. This is a 1,500 pages book. She wrote each version by hand, which were probably even more than that before it got summarized. She drafted this fucking book again and again and again, using even a magnifying glass to understand Tolstoy's fucking scribbles, because he had this thing where he just read, like he used the entire fucking page, every space that the page could give him. So she used a magnifying glass to understand and decipher his scribbles. Over the span of 7 years, he wrote the manuscript 8 times that we know of, while giving birth to 4 of their 13 children. Let me tell you, Tolstoy was busy. That blew my mind, let me tell you. Taking care of them, taking care of the household and the financial status, because Tolstoy was kind of a cuckoo man, if you do some research on him, and managing an 1870s household. Like I said, a certified G. She's unnecessarily thick. Is she thick? Yes. Is she complicated? Yes. Is she easy to get you confused? God, yes. However, Is she fun to read? Surprisingly, yes. Listen, I am shocked, okay? If you're shocked, I am shooketh. Okay. Depression, death, and Russian literature go hand in hand. I think that's a known fact. However, someone was just offed in the last volume I read in an emotional way, and I feel some type of way about it. It was surprising to me because I started getting like, I caught a feel and not caught a feel, shit. I got feelings and I was just like, who am I? What? And I looked at the book and it looked at me and I reread the lines and they looked at me and I was a changed woman. Honestly, it was surprising because this book, you'd think you'd just like really not get attached to characters and just want to read it and try to analyze it, or just get it over with, just read and don't give a fuck, not even like understand what is actually happening. And I understand, but yeah, which is why I'm surprised that I got emotional. I didn't cry, but I got emotional. We are seeing characters growing up. We grew up. English is an amazing language. We grew up 3 years, and you're seeing that and you're feeling that in the writing and in their personalities and, you know, the characters have this book is kind of driving me mad. But we are seeing a noticeable difference between volume 1 and volume 2 in the characters themselves, and yeah, which is getting me attached more to them because I feel like I'm growing up with them, like we're friends. Like, I feel like this is how it is if I had like friends and we would grow up together and stuff, and I like it. Even though I'm still losing track of everyone. I think that's a given with this book at this point, because there's a lot of people. Like a lot. Wanna know something else that caught me way off guard? There is some kind of love triangle going on. Did I start this thinking I'm gonna get a romance? No. Did I start this thinking I may have a romance? Yeah. In the background, maybe not really focused on, or maybe it's like a lot is happening with the nature of the book, of course. But like there's some fooling around going on, not that kind of fooling around. But then I think I'm gonna straight up head into a love triangle. No, I did not. Do I like it though? Yes, I do. Charlie would never read this. Ever. I don't know why I'm doing this. I am honestly going to cry. I need to finish it. I can't just put it aside. Okay? Yes. It's like reminded me of Capital in one way, that it's sort of some dude's philosophical ideas jumbled in a novel. There are a lot of characters and a lot of personalities going around, and we have someone literally being named the devil himself, Antichrist himself. And with that comes a lot of different opinions and a lot of different values going around. And I like that a lot. It doesn't feel like one thing is being shoved down your throat. It does not feel like it doesn't feel pushy. It doesn't feel, annoying. It's just a lot of different opinions in one book, and it feels realistic because of it. Must excuse me. I've grown quite wary. That was so dumb. I feel accomplished. I finished. It kind of finished me. Like I'm having like a permanent headache. It's amazing. I am kind of insane right now. She's thick. Okay? Okay. Last update, I had a lot to go through, and I didn't want to do another update. Like, I just wanted to read. That was a lie. I didn't read. That was a total lie. What happened was I could not read anymore due to my brain breaking apart, I sort of put it down and pretended it was decoration for a little bit. The last part is sort of war heavy. I don't mind it, but like I do, because it started getting you know how I told you that this book is sort of borderline history, is like a borderline history lesson. It started like leaning a little bit too much on that side. Another death happened. It was Andre, and I was like, I just pretended that it didn't happen. I just pretended that it didn't happen because the way it happened was weird. Like, for some unfathomable reason, I grew attached to these people. If you've read this book, which, hi, we did it. Congratulations to us. We did it. Yay. If you've read this book, then you kind of are gonna understand what I'm about to say. If you didn't, you shouldn't. I don't know. But this part especially felt like shit was going on and everyone was dealing with shit. Some were dealing with relationship, or some were dealing with death, some were dealing with the war. Like, everyone was dealing with stuff and shit was happening. And then Pierre was just in the background playing with his shoelaces or something. Volume 3 got hella more confusing. The entirety of the volume, I blacked out. I blacked out. I don't know where I was. I don't know what was happening. And then I was like, oh no, Andre died. Oh no, he lived. Yay. On a serious note though, I saw more maturity when I went in. Like, throughout the volumes, I've been seeing more and more maturity. And the last volumes that I read, like the last parts, I've seen a lot of maturity with the characters. Except Pierre. And we're seeing this like this maturity, not in a way that was just like, oh, I was 7 and now I am 10 and now I am 13. It wasn't like that. It's just done in these little tidbits, like the characters' reactions to things, how they adapt to stuff, how they react to stuff, how, like, in that sense of that sense of writing, and I liked it. I just kept reading for Pierre. He literally felt like a golden retriever, and I just kept reading for him. Finishing this, I'm disappointed because it sort of fizzled out. It's like, it's a fade to black thing. Not in a smutty way, it's War and Peace. What is wrong with you? Which I don't like, because like after 1,400 fucking pages, that doesn't feel right. Like, I need more. This book might seem intimidating, and definitely was for me, and this whole reading of this book was a fucking joke because of a TV show. However, not a lot of things happen. Like, not a lot of stuff. Like, a lot of stuff happened, but like not a lot of stuff happened. But the things that do happen are extremely detailed. Really, really detailed. And the characters that do take part in the stuff that do happen are also detailed with their emotion and their life experiences and their everything that just happens to them in their real life. It's just hyper detailed, which can be something that you'd like or something that you didn't. I personally loved it. Who is right and who is wrong? No one. But if you are alive, live. Whether I liked what was happening in some of the parts or I didn't, or I hit a boring part or a difficult part to go through, I took something from it nonetheless. A quote I liked, an idea I liked, a philosophy I definitely enjoyed, something I want to analyze, something I want to search for. One must believe in the possibility of happiness in order to be happy. And I now believe in it. Let the dead bury the dead. But while I'm alive, I must live and be happy. Even though the last part is hyper-focused on war and its effect on people and the toll it took on the soldiers, the families that remained, the people that remained, and the people that were lost, still, I found that I want to continue to read because of the ideas that I got from it. There was so much condensed into this book that I honestly didn't expect, but I'm not surprised that I saw, because the same thing happened to me. I don't want to compare two writers, but the same thing happened to me with Dostoevsky. I did not at all expect to find so much about life, about friendship, about love, but I did, and the same thing happened to me here. So many views and so many opinions that you cannot help but hit a point where you do take something from it, where you find something that works for you, that you like or agree on. For my actions to be free, it was necessary that I would encounter no obstacles. To conceive of a man being free, we must imagine him outside space, which is evidently impossible. However much we approximate the time of judgment to the time of the deed, we never get a conception of freedom in time. Can I lift my arm? I lift it. But ask myself, could I have abstained from lifting my arm at the moment that have already passed? Convince myself of this, I do not lift my arm in the next moment. But I'm not now abstaining from doing so at the first moment. When I ask the question, time has gone by, which I could not detain the arm. I then lift it. It is no longer the arm I now refrain from lifting. The moment in which the first movement was made is irrevocable, and at that moment I could make only one movement, and whatever movement I made would be the only one. Not gonna lie, this entire part gave me a permanent headache. It hurts my brain. But basically, it means shit happens and it means shit to keep thinking about it. Move on. Last part sort of just forgot all the characters and just started throwing philosophical theories at us. I'm not mad at it, actually. This was definitely, for me, started as a character-driven book. I stayed for the characters and ended up actually loving the philosophical theories that went into this book, especially at the last part. All in all, though, I did it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next video.